Hello, Internet. Have another forensics video for you guys today. So last time I did a little bit of autopsy. I think my first week I did a little autopsy video. I'm currently teaching digital forensics, and my students just wrapped up their network forensics module. I was hoping to do this demo last week, but unfortunately I got a little busy, so I'm doing it now. Right now they're doing web browser forensics, which frankly is a little less interesting in my opinion. You kind of just It's not really a whole lot to it. You kind of just click the web browser file and look through it. Network forensics is a lot cooler. Like kind of looking at the packets and piecing stuff together, I think is really fun. So anyway, what I wanted to do today was talk a little bit about tcpdump. Specifically, I want to kind of relearn tcpdump because I haven't really used it myself in a while. I don't do a lot of network forensics myself at my job. We do have a dedicated network team, so they kind of do a lot of that stuff hands-on. I mean, I do look at packet captures here and there, but it's not really my main focus. So it's definitely something I want to brush up on again. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. First off, what you might be wondering is why can't I just use Wireshark, right? Wireshark's really nice and easy to use, right? Why can't we just use Wireshark? And sure, you could use Wireshark. I'll do a quick little demo on that for anybody who maybe hasn't seen it before. To do packet capture, you need to run it as the root user. That's why I'm doing a sudo Wireshark. And let's just bring that back down over here. So Wireshark's a nice little friendly interface. You get to see all your little current wireless devices going off. So you can see I have my Ethernet device. This is all my devices. Bluetooth, loopback, etc., etc. All right, so if I wanted to go ahead and capture some packets, as simple as double-clicking it, and we got some packets coming in. That'll give me literally everything that's going across my Ethernet. Go ahead and stop that. All right, ton of freaking packets to dig through here. All right, if I wanted to save it, I could do save as, and it's going to save it as a PCAP. All right, all well and good, right? Wireshark's cool. I love Wireshark. Makes it nice and easy to kind of dig through this stuff and see what the packets are holding right away. Right, like over here, we got an ARP packet. Trying to just, that's probably my router, figuring out the address of my system. Okay, so nothing wrong with Wireshark, except that it is a graphical application. It does have command line tools that do work pretty well, but it is intended pretty much as a graphical application for analysis. We're actually capturing packets. Sometimes what you need to do is use command line tools because a lot of times you're working with headless systems. So for example, like a website, let me go ahead and show you. This is my the server I have at home that hosts my Tor hidden site. Right, something like this hosts a web application. It hosts a little blog with some text and stuff. But the actual server itself doesn't have like a login screen, doesn't have like the start menu and all that fancy stuff, right? If I go ahead and SSH over to that machine, you see I pretty much just have a login window, right? I couldn't really like run something like Wireshark from here, unless I was doing like X11 forwarding, but we're not going to talk about anything like that. Right, so if you want to just get quick and easy packets, there's a new, really cool tool called tcpdump, which looks something like this. tcpdump, which is a pretty old program, but it's kind of the standard for a reason, right? It just kind of does what it does really well, which is just capture and filter for certain packets on a system. Before I do any kind of server stuff, let me go ahead and pop over to just how the tool works in general, right? So capturing packets, just like I did with Wireshark, right? How would I capture outgoing packets on my system like you just saw? So for that, actually Wireshark in particular I think has a great guide on this. I mean, you could just do man tcpdump. Let's start there. Let's start with man tcpdump. Right, simple as that. Dumps traffic on network. Has a whole ton of options, which can be a little overwhelming at first. If I get a little bit of headspace there. There we go. Okay. So it prints out a description of the contents of packets on a network that match a certain expression. Or if you don't put an expression, it'll just get all of them. I'll finish this page. Yeah, okay, so lots of description. Let's get the short list of options. So tcpdump -h. Okay, so you can see I'm running tcpdump version 4.99.4. That works with this little lib called lib pcap. That really does most of the heavy lifting, I believe, in that program. All right, and well, let's just hit the, I know it looks overwhelming the first time, it looks overwhelming to me, but the main options here are going to be B, or capital B for the size of the packets you want to capture, C, if you want to limit the amount of packets you do capture, so if you want to keep it down to 100 or whatever, or if you wanted to capture packets in increments of 100, that's how that would be useful for that. I'm not familiar with these as much. I for the interface, so that is the important one, kinda. That is the interface to listen on. So for those of you who may be a little unfamiliar on network interfaces, there's a handy command on Linux, and most other systems have something similar, called IP. If you're working with this on Linux, the command you're looking for is called ipconfig. If you're working on an older version of Linux or OpenBSD, you're looking for ifconfig. Looks something like this. I also have it on this system, but I'm going to stick with IPA because it's really easy to use. And it's simple and has a lot of options to it. So IPA will list the interfaces that list IP addresses, that have IP addresses, rather. Okay, and there's a few. There is 1, 2, 3 devices on my computer. First one is this loopback interface. That is good old 127.0.0.1. Right, so if you ever wanted to run a web application, this is the address it's going to use. So for example, I won't give you an example. Yeah, maybe another video. If you want an example of that, I can give you an example of how the loopback interface works. The second one is my Ethernet, ENP8S0. So that is my wired connection, right? My main IP address, and you can see that on this system, it's 192.168.1.40. That's going to be my local address, so you wouldn't be able to hit me from outside of one of those. This is what my address is on the inside, on my network. Okay, and the last one I have there is a Wi-Fi adapter. You can tell with that little W, it's probably Wi-Fi, WLP5S0. Currently, I'm not really using that, so you can see that is currently down. It does not have an address assigned to it. Yeah, not much else to say about that. So that is how we get the interfaces we want to listen to. And the one I'm going to be listening to in this case is going to be our Ethernet device. Just wanted to show you this little quick thing. Right, so if you were looking for just a quick summary of tcpdump, I really like Wireshark. Wireshark's summary, I guess I'd call it, of tcpdump, which shows you that all you really need is the interface. Here you have the size. This you don't really need on more modern versions of tcpdump. It's already going to capture the full-size packets. But if you have an older version, you might want to specify the size. And W is the file you want to write to. Right, so this will basically just capture all packets on a certain interface. You kind of learned that from the command line flags, right? So let's go ahead and just do that, right? And see how it works out. See if it works similar to Wireshark. So let me go ahead and go to desktop. We make a directory for this, packets. All right, and I'll just capture some packets on my main Ethernet device. So for this one, if you want, again, so if you want to capture packets, you're going to need to use sudo. Same with Wireshark, so you're going to want to do sudo tcpdump dump I enp8s0. You could tab that to complete it. And I'll write it to a file called test.pcap. Let's go ahead and run that. Okay, and you can see it's listening. Doesn't give you a whole lot of feedback, right? You kind of just have to wait and look at the file after. I'm going to go ahead and stop it right there. So I hit Control-C. Whoa, that's a lot of packets. That's a lot more than I figured. But it's probably because I'm on the internet and streaming right now. That's probably why there's so many packets going out. So let's go ahead and explore some of them, right? So let me go ahead and say Wireshark test.pcap. Let's take a look at some of those packets. Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of the similar stuff. This is probably all the stuff that I'm streaming out right now, I bet. That's probably most of what I'm seeing. Can I zoom out? No, that's good enough. Right, but you can go through it just like you would any kind of normal PCAP, right? And of course, you could do all your filters here. So let's say I wanted to filter, let's say I wanted to filter DNS traffic, right? Go ahead and hit DNS. Huh, nothing. Okay, that's weird. Let's try ARP. ARP, I saw a few. Okay, so you have a few ARP traffic. All right, so we learned a little bit about how to capture packets and put them into Wireshark so far. So let's learn a little bit about how we can filter packets before we get to them. Maybe like even capture packets of certain traffic without having to use Wireshark first. So tcpdump is designed to be used with a filter. Right? I'm going to bring up the manual page again. tcpdump. Right, it has all these options, and then it has this expression at the end. And the expression is going to be defined by not this page, but this page's syntax, right? The pcap filter man page. Let's go ahead and write like a real simple one. So write the host one. So this is going to be looking for all IP type packets where the host is going to be equal to that host name address, which could be an IP address, it could be a host name, whatever. Let me go ahead, right, and go to Sorty Barfrost, for example. And let's capture some of the packets on this guy's end, right, and see if we can pick up any HTTP traffic from the other end, right, so from my host computer. So let me go ahead and run tcpdump on Sorty Barfrost. Actually, hold on, first let me get the interfaces. So the interface here, I have a Docker 1, 3, 4, eth0 is going to be this one. So we're going to go ahead and do sudo tcpdump -i eth0 -w. We'll go ahead and call this http.pcap. And let's do a filter for... Actually, let's do it without a filter first to take a look at it. All right, so let's do it without a filter first. And why don't I go ahead and visit the web page while I'm doing that. Okay, so I visited the web page. And let's stop the capture. All right, so we got some packets there. Let me go ahead and copy, copy the files from pi@sorty.press. It's a Raspberry Pi hosting that. Go to home, pi, and we call this http.pcap, and let's copy that here. Okay, so I copied that file, and let's Wireshark it. All right, let's take a look at it. Okay, so we see some... Oh, wait, did I open the right one? I think I opened test. Yeah, I opened test. Let's open up the correct one, HTTP. Okay, so we're seeing some less packets here, and already you're seeing some different colors here. So let me go ahead and open that a little bit. All right, so you see some of the same stuff. Actually, you see my SSH connection. Right, so you see me connecting via SSH there. You see it talking to my NAS here. Right, so this is my NAS at home. And you start seeing the HTTP traffic. So these are the GET requests for that website that you just saw. You can see I'm doing GET 1. It's saying it's returning GET OK. And it's getting the CSS file, and it's getting everything else, right? It's getting all the files from that web page. Okay, so let's say I wanted to monitor just HTTP traffic going on here, right? I could just, do that full capture and then put it to Wireshark, but that's going to be a huge file, right? So let's try to make our files smaller. And let's write a simple expression here. And I'm doing this raw, right? So I've never actually written a tcpdump expression. So let's see if we can figure it out from the manual. So my goal is to filter for anything that matches HTTP, right? So it looks like proto is going to be here, right? Or is this not what I think it is? No, it's not what I think it is. So this is talking specifically about the internet protocol, right? Whether it's TCP, UDP, Ethernet, WLAN, blah, 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 blah. So that's not what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is HTTP. It might be as simple as just TCP and then the word HTTP, but let me see if I could find it in this manual, like an example. Okay, perfect. They have tons of examples. All right, so it's this one saying select all IPv4 HTTP packets from port 80. Only packets that contain data, not, for example, SYN and FIN packets. Okay. So basically, it looks like, so this is the first one for getting port 80. I'm curious if I, because the thing is my server's not port 80, right? So that kind of complicates things. Can you do it based on like protocol, like TCP? Let me just try it. Like, let's just try it. So that syntax would be TCP port whatever. Let me see if I can get. So what are the subcategories for TCP? I don't think I can do TCP proto HTTP. I don't think it understands that. Let's try. TCP proto HTTP. Yeah, I didn't think so. Can you do TCP HTTP? No, it can't do that either. Hmm. Wait. tcpdump TCP port H. Oh, wait, but that's going to be the port HTTP. That's going to be depend on unknown port HTTP, right? This really is really can only do it on. Maybe it only does it on the port level. Maybe I'm misunderstanding how this works. And most people here are just saying, just use a different tool for that, dummy. Yeah, right. Yeah, I think in this case, it's probably going to be easiest to do it by port, actually. And in this case, I guess it doesn't really, I guess it makes sense that, either one works, right? Because you know where your HTTP server is, right? So let's just stick with the port for this example. So let me go ahead and capture everything that is on port 1081, in this case, is my server. All right, so I'll go ahead and do that. Let's stop it there without any traffic. I'm curious. Yeah, okay, cool. That's exactly what I was hoping to say. Right, so you notice I didn't visit my website, right? So I didn't get any packets here. So it is filtering out all that noise, right? It's only looking at the HTTP stuff now. Now let's see if we can get some actual packets on there, right? So let's go to there, and now let's actually visit the website. Right, so I'll hit whoopsie. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, refresh. So we refresh the page. It should have done a GET request. Let's go ahead and stop. Now you can see I got some packets going on here, right? I got 74 packets. All right, let's go ahead and copy the same file back. I'll call this one HTTP2 just to keep the old one. Let's wireshark that. I opened up the other one. I can't. I'm going too fast, guys. There we go. Okay. So now you can see, so it didn't get, right, it didn't filter out everything that's HTTP, right? But it did filter out everything going to 1081 at least. So that does make for a smaller file. I wish I could figure out how to do the get thing like that guy did, but I'll have to dig through that in another video, I think. It looks like some complicated stuff, that syntax. Anyway, we got our basic GET request here. If I wanted to follow the TCP stream, I could do follow TCP stream and take a look at what's going on over there. Let's see, can I follow the HTML stream and see like the HTTP stream and see the... Yep. So if you follow the HTTP stream, you'll actually see the content of the website that you get back. Right, so this is my web page that you're seeing here. Pretty cool stuff. All right, I was hoping to show you how you could do this to filter out traffic, but I can't seem to find that option for TCP to do filtering, so I'll have to come to in another video another time. But I did want to, I guess, talk about how would you do a filter for like a specific IP address. Like let's say that the IP address I have over here is a malicious one I've identified, right? Maybe I'm getting some malicious traffic from that IP. Right, so how could I capture some traffic for that so I can send that off to my network guys and do some more investigation? Well, we'll do the same thing, kind of, but let's see if we can find an IP filter. I'm pretty sure there is one. Right, so you would want to filter out packets for that particular host, right? So here is for the host ACE and not Helios. So in our case, we want to look for any packets from my 192 guy, right? So here we're going to go ahead and say it's IP host, this host, right? And we'll capture some packets. I'm going to go ahead and visit the website, refresh the page, close it out. And we got 78 packets captured, 81 received by filter. Huh, I wonder why it's different there. Mystery for another time. Let me go ahead and copy that file over. We'll call this one number 3. And let's go ahead and wireshark that guy. Take a look at how it's different. Okay, so now you can see all the traffic. You can see that the source is going to be pretty familiar here, right? Or at least the destination. It's going to either be the source or the destination, right? I think, which one's sorry about first, actually? T39. Oh, that's funny how it turned out. This guy's 39 and my home computer's 40. That's funny. Anyway, so you're seeing some SSH traffic going on in the background there, which makes sense because I'm doing that right now. And you can see the rest of the HTTP packets, but you can see that it's only filtered for that first guy. Let me go ahead and open up the other one so you can see. Open up the second one. Right here, I think we're going to have some different sources and destinations in there. So 3940. Okay, in this case, it was the only one talking, but sometimes you would see like some outside traffic coming from there. All right, that is my first attempt at trying to learn a little bit of tcpdump. I definitely want to do more of this because clearly there's a lot more I could learn on how I can use this tool. But hopefully that's good info to some people who are watching. If you have any ideas on filters or options we should look more into, any problems with some of the commands I ran here, feel free to leave a comment, and look forward to seeing you watch next time.